Welcome to the Rather Be Gotham podcast. My name is Josh, and we got a new guy on the podcast today. My good friend, Mr. Rob Cazzetto.
What's going on, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up, buddy? First podcast from Mr. Rob over here. And I brought you on the show because the guys on the podcast originally, they're not big fight fans.
Gotcha.
But this week, we have big fights going on. One, we got Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. Two, we got the GOAT of the MMA world, John Jones, and probably the greatest heavyweight in the MMA world, Stipe Miocic. So we're going to start with the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight. What are your thoughts on it?
All right. So I got two different sides of this fight. Not that I'm a Jake Paul hater, but I mean, look at the guy's recent fights, right? The guy's fought nobodies. The only boxer that he's ever fought, obviously Tommy Fury.
Yep.
And he lost. All right. So now, go back to his other fights. He fought influencers. He fought one boxer, took a loss. Then he goes into the UFC mix, starts fighting, UFC guys that aren't really, at the top of their game anymore.
Ben Askren.
Okay.
I mean, he did fight Anderson Silva. Which I give him that one.
That's one credit I'll give him that he
and Nate Diaz.
Yes. Those two guys are unbelievable strikers. So credit to him for those fights, but they're still not boxers, right?
Very true.
These guys are used to throwing kicks, throwing punches, doing everything basically to survive in the octagon.
Yep.
So totally different fight game. But I personally think that the media is just blowing this out of proportion. Oh, Mike Tyson's coming back. He's in great shape. He's going to put the beating on Jake Paul, end his streak. And I just think it's going to be another easy win for Jake Paul.
Just an easy win for Jake Paul.
I think he's walking through this fight easily.
I 100% don't agree with you. I think Mike Tyson will show up and fight very hard. Especially, I was watching the Countdown show, and his daughter's looking to be a professional tennis player.
Mm-hmm.
I think he wants to show her that her dad still got it, and he's gonna put on somewhat of a show. Like, I really hope it's somewhat of the same old Mike Tyson, not like a floozy. Who did he just fight?
He fought Roy Jones.
Yeah, Roy Jones Jr.
And that's what I'm going off of, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Like, so, at the time for that fight, I think it was 4 years ago now?
Yeah, it's about that.
So he was like 54 years old going into that fight, 55, 54, give or take. And he looked not good in that fight. Like,
see, I don't think he looked that bad. I think Roy Jones Jr., he even said it in an interview. He was like, I'm holding this guy so he can't fucking touch me. And that's pretty much what happened the entire fight. And I think that was more of an exhibition. This is actually a pro fight.
Yeah.
Even though they're going eight 2-minute rounds and 14-ounce gloves, which I'm not a big fan of that because 16-ounce gloves are more sparring gloves, so it's pretty much right there.
Yeah, like I said, like I feel like Roy Jones versus Mike Tyson, everybody was hyped around it. Two great boxers at a time going at it, and it was obviously a disappointment because we wanted to see Mike Tyson come out and knock somebody out.
I think they agreed not to knock each other out.
Yeah.
Like some bullshit.
And then the whole thing with the tie was kind of stupid too because Mike Tyson clearly won the fight. He landed more punches. He landed like 30, 35 more body shots.
Yeah.
So he clearly won, but it was a money grab for both of them, I think. But back to the Jake Paul thing, I still stand on it. I just feel like everybody that I've pretty much said that's going to beat him hasn't. So do I want Mike Tyson to win? Absolutely. I want Mike Tyson to win.
I think a lot of people do. I would say probably 90% of people want Mike Tyson to win this fight.
Yeah. But I just still feel like media blown it out of proportion, saying, Mike Tyson, once again, coming out, great shape. He is in phenomenal shape, by the way. Like, but the 2 minutes that you see him training for, like, you don't know how deep he's getting into those training sessions.
Yeah, you haven't seen him spar for a full 8 rounds.
Yeah.
He is looking good, and he's coming off that ulcer he had, so how's his health?
True. How's his stamina going to be for the fight? I just think every advantage is in Jake Paul's corner. He's younger. He's obviously healthier. He's might be a little faster than he is. Might have more power than Mike Tyson. It's crazy to say it, but he might have more power than Mike Tyson at this point. I mean, going back to when Mike Tyson was in his 20s, no shot he's even getting close to him. But
they say that's the last thing you lose is your power, so we're definitely gonna see that. I think Jake Paul gained a lot of weight for this fight.
Yeah,
I think his other fights he was around 190.
Mm-hmm.
He's weighing around 225.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's a lot of weight. So his stamina is going to be a question too.
Yeah.
I mean, it does help him with 2-minute rounds compared to 3-minute rounds. That's a huge difference.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's only 8 rounds. So you kind of...
Do you think he makes that decision on the rounds?
I think it was more of Tyson.
Was it? I don't know.
But
it's like, I feel like every fight too that he has, it's like altered rounds. Like he's never really fought like, correct me if I'm wrong, like he hasn't really fought a full boxing fight.
Yeah, he pretty much manipulates every fight he fights in. I think maybe the Tommy Fury fight, I could be wrong about that. That could have been an official one, but I'm not 100%.
He definitely should have say on his fights because he is basically the main promotion of the fight.
He is the money grab. I mean, he's making $40 million on this fight. I don't know if they're going to make like a gate off that too.
Yeah.
But he's guaranteed $40 million. Mike Tyson's guaranteed $20 million. That's a pretty big difference.
Crazy.
But it is going to be the most watched fight, I think, almost ever.
Absolutely.
It's going to be on Netflix. You don't have to pay for it if you have Netflix already.
It's a genius marketing gig.
It's pretty genius.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like you've never seen any live fight on Netflix. It's the first fight that's ever been on Netflix. I think it's a brilliant idea. And I think most people, I mean, don't really want to buy a Jake Paul fight. Let's be honest. Nobody wants to buy a Jake Paul fight.
Yeah, not anymore.
So him putting it on Netflix is probably the best move that he could have made.
I agree. Do you think this is actually good for boxing or bad for boxing?
I think you could look at it from both standpoints. It could be good for boxing just because, you have a legend in the sport coming back into the sport. You have old fans coming that maybe haven't watched boxing in a long time because their fighters are not fighting anymore. Mike Tyson fans now are back into the sport, eyes on the sport. Maybe those other fighters get a little of attention from those older fans, and maybe, they tune in every, Saturday or whatever day the fight day is for those guys now. So I definitely think it's bringing more eyes to the sport. But there's also the downfall where now you have a legend in the sport that could possibly ruin his legacy. Not that it'll ruin anything that he did, 20 years ago, but, now everybody's going to just, moving forward, think of, Mike Tyson, if he gets knocked out by Jake Paul, that's crazy.
Yep. So when I look at Jake Paul fights, I think a lot of people, they don't underestimate him, but I think they're afraid to embarrass themselves.
Yeah.
So they try not to make a mistake and they get caught.
Yeah. They freeze up, kind of.
Exactly.
They freeze up, kind of. And they don't want to be the one pushing the pace the entire time and get caught that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't want to make a mistake, and they end up making a mistake by not fighting. Like Mike Perry, I thought for sure.
I know. He didn't do anything
for sure,
the whole
man.
fight,
He didn't do anything the entire fight.
It's crazy. And the guy's a dog, too. Like,
it is different bare knuckle versus actual boxing, but it's pretty similar.
Yeah.
You would think he would just push forward and run right through Jake Paul, and it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that definitely was a disappointing fight. I mean, I totally thought I actually forgot about that fight. Honestly, that's how boring it was. I really did forget about that.
I know.
And now that you brought it up, yeah, that was just a disappointing fight. Mike Perry just shelled up the entire time. Maybe landed, maybe 2-3 good shots on him, and that's it. But the guy got a bag. It's crazy.
He did, but he was the king of violence.
I know.
This guy he beat fucking Eddie Alvarez. He beat fucking MVP, fucking bare knuckle boxing.
It's crazy.
The only thing I'm worried about with boxing is that people are going to be more into the gimmicky fights if this does well.
Yeah.
Other than just move up the rankings, they're going to look for more gimmicky fights.
I think, boxing right now, most eyes are on boxing for these fights. I mean, I love Canelo. Canelo, one of the best fighters in the world. And I find myself, for some reason, watching these fights over buying a pay-per-view when Canelo's on it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I don't know why. It's just, I guess that's what it's come to. I kind of like, I guess I do kind of like watching these fights like this, like cross, a UFC fighter versus a boxer. Like, that's cool to me because I'm a big UFC fan.
Yeah.
Like, I never really followed boxing until these fights started happening starting with Mayweather McGregor. Like, McGregor, one of my favorite UFC fighters. Don't hate. And once that fight happened, it just opened the doors for all of these other fights. Like, that was the first cross, probably will still be the biggest cross that ever happened in UFC boxing. I don't think anything's ever touching those pay-per-view numbers.
Yeah, I didn't see the numbers between Ngannou and Tyson Fury, but that was also insane too.
That was a great fight. Great fight.
Unfortunately, Ngannou got knocked the fuck out by Joshua.
Yeah, but didn't Ngannou he dropped
Tyson. Yeah, he dropped
Tyson.
Fury. Yeah. People are saying he won that fight.
I haven't really.
I would have to watch it over again.
I would have to watch that over.
But from what I've seen, it kind of did look like he won the fight. He did drop him. Tyson really he got a couple of good shots on him, but he never dropped him like that. So it's pretty crazy
for those bigger guys too, though. Like, you put Ngannou in with boxing gloves. I mean, it's anybody's fight. The guy hits harder than a Mack truck hitting you. Like,
yeah, for real. That is for real. One more thing. Now, say you said if Tyson lost, it could almost ruin his legacy somewhat.
Somewhat.
I don't think it would tarnish him too bad. What about Jake? Where do you think Jake goes from here? If he takes the loss, can he rebound from it? Losing to a 58-year-old Mike Tyson?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I see. I feel
it sounds
like
crazy, but
it does sound crazy, but I really think he's not going to lose this fight. Jake Paul's not going to lose this fight. I think it's meant out to be that Tyson's going to come in for the money grab, just like all the other guys, and pretty much not, roll over, but I think it's set up for Jake to win. I think he has everything else over Tyson. But for Jake Paul moving forward, I would say, yeah, I mean, losing to a 58-year-old, I mean, it's got to be embarrassing, but I think he would be able to bounce back and somehow make another fight out of this one.
yeah,
I mean, that's what he's been doing the whole time.
I think also it goes by how the fight ends. If Tyson knocks him out in the first round,
then now we're talking.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
That'd be fucking nuts. But we disagree because I'm going with Tyson in this fight.
Yeah.
I'm going with Tyson. I don't think he's going to lay down. He's not about that whole fucking bag, baby. He's not about the bag.
All right. We're going to have to see.
My guy has money. He's been through his problems. He doesn't care. He just wants to play with his pigeons, man. That's it.
You saw the pigeon that you tried giving him?
Crazy. All right. So we disagree. You're going with Jake Paul. Do you have like a round you think knockout?
No, I think deep down, I want to say that he's gonna go all 8. I mean, 2-minute rounds. I mean, I feel like it's hard to wear somebody down in 2 minutes a round, and there's only 8 rounds. So 8 rounds, 2 minutes. I'm thinking decision, Jake Paul.
Okay, decision, Jake Paul. I'm going Mike Tyson knockout in the 4th.
Okay, that's a bold.
That is a bold statement. I like Tyson in the 4th round. He's gonna start fucking feeling it.
Let's put this on record, though. I do want Mike Tyson to win.
Yes,
but the past is the past.
Yeah.
Jake Paul wins all these fights somehow. I don't know how, but he does.
I know. I don't hate you for the pick, but you're wrong. All right.
Right.
So we're going to move on to a little UFC, which has kind of been overshadowed by this fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. And we have 2 of the GOATs ever, John Jones versus Stipe Miocic. John Jones, since he moved up to heavyweight, I mean, he made simple work of Ciryl Gane.
That was the easiest fight of his career, I think.
The easiest fight of his career. He won in the first round. Quick submission. I think within 3 minutes or some shit. But
for that fight, I truly don't even think he was trying. He made it look like he was not trying.
It looked so fucking simple. And they thought Ciryl Gane would give him the most trouble because he's a crazy striker. He can do,
and he had a little bit of a wrestling background. But
yeah, and he fights like he's 185 pounds the way he moves.
Yeah, John Jones was a big boy for that fight too.
Big boy.
Big boy. Hefty.
He gained so much fucking weight, dude. I know. He said, don't call him John Bones Jones anymore. I said John Meat Jones. He's got that meat on him.
I didn't even hear that.
I do love Stipe.
Yeah, what's your thought on this one? Let me ask you now. I feel like we're going to disagree between these next 3 fights because I have different outlooks on both of them.
Okay.
And some of these fighters I favor more than others just for certain reasons.
So
you want to start with the John Jones while we're in it? We're already in it?
Yeah, we're already in it.
All
Fuck
right,
it.
so let's start it.
Yeah, we got Stipe, who hasn't fought in over 4 years. He hasn't fought since 2021. He fought Francis, got KO'd in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I don't like this fight for him. He's fucking 42 years old now.
Mm-hmm. His
last win it was against DC when he was like 38. That was a fight before the Francis fight. It scares me. He's had a bunch of eye injuries.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think John Jones is going to be too much for him. I feel like the opposite because I'm like, I want Stipe to win.
Really?
But I don't think he's going to win.
Gotcha. I agree with you. I think it's a hard fight, but I also think it's anybody in front of John Jones is a hard fight. You could put anybody in front of him and you're always going to say it's going to be a hard fight because it is. John Jones is a freak of nature. He's the best to ever do it. And he has the longest unbeaten streak in the UFC, which is 19 in a row.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
He's basically unbeatable. The only way he lost was a no contest.
Yeah.
Actually, no.
Do you think they're going to reverse that?
The pictogram?
Yeah.
They should.
They should. I feel like they should reverse it. I mean, yeah, it happened in the past when it was illegal, but fuck all that.
Matt Hamill beat him back in the day because he threw illegal elbows, which I think it was a 12-6 elbow, which is legal now too.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's the one you were talking about.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
I thought you were talking about the no contest against DC.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the 12-6 now that's legal.
Yeah.
So
I think they should overturn that too. 100%.
I agree. Yeah, I'm gonna lean towards John Jones on this fight. I don't think Miocic is. He doesn't have the wrestling. I don't think his wrestling is going to be able to sustain with John Jones. His stand-up game, I think he will do well against John Jones if he stands up. I really do think he'll do well with him. But his wrestling, John Jones is just going to say, oh, he's giving me, a hard time on the feet. Easy takedown, submission. I'm thinking like a sub in the second round on this one.
Okay. But Miocic was He fought very well against DC, who obviously his wrestling is his number one thing. He beat DC 2 out of 3 times. And the one time he lost, he got caught with an overhand right and pretty much
folded.
But he kept DC at bay.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
But again, this is also 42-year-old Stipe
versus the best ever.
Versus the best ever.
And what John Jones did to Cormier too.
Yeah, no.
So it's hard to compare,
And John Jones' reach is insane.
Yeah. He's definitely going to be able to keep the distance on him.
And I want to see what he weighs in because Stipe is a very light heavyweight too. He doesn't walk around a lot.
No.
So we're going to see if John weighs fucking close to that limit, which I think he's going to weigh more around like 250.
Really?
Yeah.
I see that. So also what I had written down here. So John Jones has 15 title fight wins and Miocic has 6 heavyweight title fight wins. So, I mean, the guy is not a slouch. I mean, Miocic is one of the best heavyweights to ever do it.
They say he's the best heavyweight ever.
It's
definitely up for debate.
It's going to be up for debate after John Jones subs him. But, John Jones is going to be the best light heavyweight ever, best heavyweight ever. For what he did, just move up. Gone. See you later, buddy. Now he's fighting Stipe. See you later, buddy. He's going to be the best heavyweight ever. There's no debate.
Yeah, he's pretty much the best pound-for-pound fighter. I think he's the best pound-for-pound fighter over Khabib. I think
Absolutely.
Khabib left too early.
Yep.
I think Khabib had a lot of easy fights back in the day.
I agree with that.
Not gonna lie, he's still a fucking monster. But with Jones, what was I gonna say here? I'm going back at it. My bad.
It's all good.
My bad. Now this fight too. Do you think both guys are going to retire after this fight?
No. John Jones is going for Pereira.
He's going for Pereira. I do see that. He's going to go for Pereira. But are they going to give him Pereira? Is Pereira going to move up? I think Pereira would move up.
I think he'd move up, but I think it would be stupid of him to move up. I feel like it should be done at light heavyweight.
Oh, John Jones. He ain't getting back down to 205, brother.
I think...
He is not getting back down to 205. There's no way.
If the fight happens, it's obviously... I think it personally should be done at light heavyweight. I know he's not going to... He probably won't make the weight, but if he did, I think, I think he still would be fun.
I think Pereira wants to be the first 3-division champ.
Oh, so that's why... Okay.
I think that's why he would move up. And I think it would be easy for him to move up, too. I think he's still cutting a decent amount of weight for 205.
Yeah. If he moved up, I don't know. I don't even know where I would lean toward in that fight. I love Pereira. He's a beast. John Jones is a beast, but once again, you look at John Jones wrestling, and it's just going to be 20 times better than Pereira.
Pereira's wrestling is not there.
Yeah. He has none at all.
But he has that knockout shot.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like John Jones hasn't fought a guy with that knockout, that one-shot knockout power. He didn't get a chance to fight Francis.
Yeah, that's true. He's definitely fought some beasts though, going back,
grinders. But then you have Reyes.
Reyes, dude.
I mean, that was a crazy fight.
He lost that fight too. I
think John Jones lost that fight, right?
I think he lost that fight.
That was so fucking close.
I was looking actually at that fight closely on the scorecard, and Reyes outstriked him by 20 punches or something like that. I'm just throwing a number out there. It was something like that, 15 to 20 punches, outstruck him. And the only thing John Jones had over him was the 2 takedowns that he had.
Yeah.
That's it. So, I mean, it's hard. A lot of people are saying you could come in here as just a striker and just compete, blah, 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 and just be the best in the world. But I think the times have changed with that. I think you're going to start seeing a lot more champions just wrestling backgrounds because wrestlers are superior in the sport.
I agree. Wrestling is probably the number one thing you need in MMA.
Superior.
Which you look at Dominic Reyes now, he dropped off so hard from that fight.
After that fight, he's nobody now. He got knocked out 3 times after that.
Which is fucking wild. Then Diego Santos, he fought. That was a tough fight for him a little bit.
Mm-hmm. What's his name? Gustafsson.
Yeah. I mean, that was their first fight was insane.
I think that was his hardest fight in his career.
100%.
Yeah.
That went to the 5th round. That was 2-2 going into the 5th round, and he just won that fight.
Yeah.
Gritty fight.
That was a gritty fight.
But then he fought him again, and he just
destroyed him.
Yeah, he worked him.
It just must have been an off night, out partying the night before, like he always does.
Well, I actually did hear that. I heard that first fight. He barely even trained, and he was just drinking, probably doing a shit ton of cocaine.
I was at the club next door the night before. He just rolls into the locker room.
But I heard he has no interest in fighting Tom Aspinall.
Yeah, I don't see. I have a stance on that too because I was watching all the interactions they had on Instagram, TikTok, and everything. Not that I want to say that John Jones is scared. And he came out and said, he's like, I'm not scared of him, but, why am I going to give this guy, a big fight? He doesn't think he's earned it yet. But I think Aspinall is a beast, and I think he's earned that fight.
I think so, too. I can see he wants legend status. He wants legacy fights. That's pretty much all he wants. I think he just wants to beat Stipe because he was the number 1 heavyweight ever. And he wants Pereira because that guy is the face of the UFC right now.
Yeah. There was I think the interview was during the press conference or the weigh-ins today or whatever, they dropped, they put a interview out. It was a small clip of him in front of, the banner, just a after weight interview. And they were asking what he plans on doing after this fight. And John Jones pretty much said, he's like, I want to, win this fight. I will vacate both of my championships and just fight for fun. He's like, I never in my career was able to take a step back and just fight for fun without having to defend a belt, which is pretty cool because now, he does want just those fun money fights. Like, oh, let me go fight this guy who's really not anything, but I just want to fight him just to fight him.
Yeah, yeah. It is pretty crazy because you look at his career, he was champion when he was 21 years old.
Yeah,
so
his entire career he's been a champion. He's always had to defend the house. And now he's just reached a point in his career where he just wants to fight for fun. Just crazy.
Yeah. All right, so fight prediction. You're going with submission?
I'm going John Jones sub in the second round.
Second round. I'm going John Jones. I do like the sub too, but I'm going to change it up. I'm going to go ground and pound, finish in a third.
I like it. I like that. I like it. Sorry, Stipe.
Sorry, Stipe. Stipe.
Sarah, fireman, brother.
No, he's a fellow fireman.
I know. I thought you were going to go with him just because of that.
Oh, really? The next on the list, we got fucking Michael Chandler versus Charles Oliveira.
This is my favorite fight on the card.
Me too. I could see you being a big Michael Chandler fan.
I am.
I mean, you were a big wrestler guy. Big wrestler. Excuse me. Now, how much do you think it hurt Michael Chandler waiting for your boy McGregor for 2 fucking years?
I think it helped him.
You think it helped him?
I think it helped him. The guy has been training nonstop since this guy said that he was going to fight McGregor.
100%.
And he never takes days off. I mean, the guy is literally, I personally think he is the hardest working guy in the UFC. Hands down. Hands down. The guy works his ass off. He didn't get the McGregor fight, which I think he completely deserved. The guy has been the show every UFC card that he's been on. He deserved the big money fight. Definitely deserved it. But I think he works harder than pretty much everybody in that division, and he deserves everything that's gonna come to him eventually. I
agree. The only thing I don't agree with, because he's 2-3 since he's got to the UFC. His one fight, his 2 wins. Ferguson, when Ferguson was on a major decline.
He was washed, but it was a crazy finish.
It was a sick knockout.
Sick knockout.
Front kick to the face, to the chin,
and then
distorted his face. Then Dan Hooker, that's a legit.
That was
win.
legit. He basically put Hooker back down because Hooker was on the rise at that time.
I did not think Michael Chandler could win that fight, honestly.
Really?
And I'm a big Chandler fan too. I watched him ever since he was in Bellator.
Mm-hmm.
Big Chandler fan, but I just thought Hooker was too hot. I think Hooker came back a little too quick after that Poirier fight.
Yeah.
That was a fucking monster of a fight. That fight was insane. It was a bloodbath.
He definitely didn't recover fully after that fight.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, he hit him with the cleanest shot too. It wasn't even like I feel he would have hit that camp, the fight prior would have fucked him up for that. Like, I just feel like that shot was so clean that he was getting knocked out regardless.
Yeah. But I've seen Dan Hooker take fucking massive shots.
Yeah.
That guy, his chin is insane.
A certain spot on the chin, man.
And he did lose the fucking Oliveira fight. He had him.
That's where
he fucking
I
have
a lot of heartache for Michael Chandler. Because in those 3 losses that he's had, he has absolutely shaken the opponent in all 3 of those
and
fights.
They were all fight of the nights, basically.
And he could not finish any of those. And if he did finish them, they would have all been wins because he had them on the ropes.
Yep.
Every single one of those fights. The Charles Oliveira one, I think, hurt him the absolute most because, unlike, it's everybody actually, because Oliveira gets touched up and he drops immediately, right? He goes into the shell tactic, legs up, wants you to come into his guard.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's actually hurt or he's just baiting you to go into his guard. But the only person that ever followed through with a knockdown to his guard was Islam Makhachev, and he finished him.
Yeah.
So now you look at both sides of it, like Chandler, if he possibly would have followed him up on the ground after he knocked him.
I mean, He did kind of follow him up, but he wasn't on his back. He was kind of like on his knees.
He
didn't
pounce. He didn't pounce on him.
Yeah, he was bobbing his head around. Fucking, he should have pounced on him. I agree.
But even with who was it? Was it Dustin that dropped Oliveira too, or was it Gagey? I think it was Gagey.
I think Gagey, yeah.
So it was Gagey who dropped him as well, who also, and he dropped him to his back, and he didn't even follow up on him. So you go your whole fight camp training for a guy like this. You know that it's going to be hard to get him, on his back. You drop him with a shot. You gotta pounce on the guy. I mean, listen, you don't know if he's hurt or not. Yeah, is it dangerous? But he's going to bring you down to the deep waters anyway. Yeah. So you might as well take your opportunity.
I agree. But the guy does have the most UFC submissions, 16. He has the most finishes ever in UFC history.
Yep.
So he's a scary fucking dude.
Definitely.
And a few of them are off his back. His ground game is insane.
He also
his striking's got a shit ton of better.
He also has the most bonuses in UFC history. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that.
That's actually pretty crazy.
I mean, I guess you could see that because he has the most finishes.
He has 19 bonuses.
That's fucking insane. Especially if you look at his career, he was kind of fading away. Like Chandler would say, like my guy, in the beginning of his career, he would get hurt and he would just fade. He would just get beat up.
Yeah.
But things have changed for Mr. Oliveira.
Definitely.
He did lose 2 of the last 3.
Yep. He's 2-2 in his last 4, yeah.
One is against Islam, and Armin Tuscaran.
Yeah, Armin. I think that kind of set him back a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that was a total bullshit fight. He should have won that with ease, I feel like, honestly.
Yeah, he could have had that fight.
The caliber that he is as a fighter and who he's fought in the last 3 years, like that should have been an easy tune-up fight for him.
Yeah, Tuscaran he's definitely no joke though, but no, I could have seen that. Where am I going to go with this fight?
Yeah, where are you going with this one?
I do want my boy Chandler to win.
Yeah.
See, you thought we were going to disagree on a lot of this.
I thought this was going to be one that you 100% disagreed with me on.
See, I don't know if I'm picking with my heart right now, though. No,
I'm definitely picking with my heart on this one.
I want to see Chandler fucking win. I'm going to go Chandler first round knockout.
First round knockout.
First round.
I
think he has to go first round knockout.
Pretty much my prediction.
Yeah. If he doesn't go first round knockout, my guy is in trouble, I think.
I think dude, yeah, he's going to get in trouble. I think he's good for the first 2 rounds. You get into the third with Oliveira, I feel like that's his territory. End of 2, beginning of 3, all through 3 is all Oliveira. Michael Chandler is like start off fast, strong, try to get inside, throw those crazy shots. I agree with you on that. I'm going to go Chandler here. First round. KO.
I like it.
And hopefully if he knocks him down in the first, that he follows up. Because if he lets him recover on his back, then you're giving the guy a second life.
No, I agree. He's going to have to follow up. And I'm not going to lie, a lot of people thought he won that fight because they say the ref should have stopped it.
Yeah.
It was that close.
Then I also saw a video in slow motion. So when he's following up with that, when he has his hand on his head like this and he's following up with those hooks while his head's down, you see his lights go out, right? And he like starts, it's like micro, you have to watch it in slow motion. But if you watch it, he hits him once, he hits him twice, and then all of a sudden like his head like hit the canvas. And then when he hit him with the third shot,
he like woke back up.
He woke him back up, and that's when he started like moving his head and stuff. So that could have done it too. That happens with fighters where, you could knock somebody out, and as they're dropping to the ground, you hit them with one more shot, and you shake them back awake.
Yeah. I mean, he could have just been on defense mode, like his body just going. He could have blacked out and just fucking just kept on moving. You've seen that before.
Definitely.
All right, so we both have.
We agree with that one.
We both agree with
that one.
one.
I like that. It's going to be probably the fight of the night, I think.
What do you think your boy McGregor's going to be doing?
Tweeting the whole time.
Just tweeting.
He's gonna be talking about
fucking drinking his whiskey.
You're like Chandler, you're gonna see me next in the octagon. That was a terrible fight.
Oh man. Yeah, I can see that. You know, it's getting close to winter too, so it might be snowing for him too. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very. But yeah. Do you think he's actually going to get a fight, or he's just going to keep fucking?
Who, McGregor?
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to say that he's going to fight this upcoming year, but I've been saying it for the last 2 years.
Very.
3 years, 4 years.
He's going to do another movie.
Man.
Another fucking Roadhouse 2.
By the way, that movie was fire.
Fire?
Actually, I liked it.
I thought it was pretty good. I mean,
I liked it.
It was fucking very corny, funny.
Yeah.
McGregor's fucking walking like.
I know.
You know,
I think that's what they wanted though.
That role was built for him. I'm like,
yeah,
even like the old Roadhouse was the same
corny.
way.
Yeah,
it was corny.
It was still corny. But I think them putting him in there was just a genius. Like everybody said, like he's not even acting; he's just being himself.
Just being him. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Now let's go Bo.
I like this fight.
Bo Nickel versus what's his name? Paul Craig. Paul Craig. I do like this fight. Paul Craig's somewhat of a big name for him.
I agree. I think a lot of people, I mean, even the odd makers, they have Bo Nickel at minus 1,000 right now on the lines, which I think is actually crazy for this fight.
It is pretty nuts
for this fight. I mean, everybody that sees the name Paul Craig, nobody knows him, but the guy is actually a UFC vet. Like the guy's been in the UFC for 17 fights. This is probably going to be a challenge, I think, for Bo Nickel here. Bo Nickel, obviously, if you guys don't know, Bo Nickel is one of the best college wrestlers ever, and the guy's grappling has been crazy, and he's only been in the UFC for like 2 years, right?
Yeah.
And the guy has been on a pace, to become one of the greats. But I think this is going to be a challenging matchup for him just because this guy, Paul Craig, is not a nobody. Everybody thinks he's a nobody, but, the guy is a submission artist. Like,
yeah, when he first got onto the scene, he was a fucking monster, dude.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to go a long way.
Mm-hmm.
But he did lose, 5 of his last 6 fights?
Yeah.
Which is very disappointing. Bo Nickel, too, pretty much every fight he's had was in the UFC. And he's kind of had powder puffs, Like,
yeah.
Like
they've been layups.
So, Paul Craig is a real man.
He is.
He's a fucking real man. He
definitely could get challenged.
His grappling is no joke. So, like, if Bo Nickel tries to wrestle him down, it's not going to be easy. Paul Craig likes to be on his back, which is very strange.
I kind of think if I'm in Bo Nickel's camp for this fight, I wouldn't even focus any of his wrestling or grappling in this fight. I would try to get him to become better in stand-up for this fight.
Yeah, his last fight against, what's his fucking name?
I have not a clue one person that this guy has fought. All I know is that they've been nobodies, and he's been destroying every single one of them.
I think he won by knockout, too. I'm going to have to look it back up. But his striking was actually pretty fucking sick. He looks pretty good.
Yeah, he has 3 finishes in his first 3 fights, right? I think 2 of them were subs, and 1 of them was a KO.
All right, never mind. Yeah, Cody Bundage. He was 10-6.
He subbed him?
He subbed him in the second round.
But he did get a knockout on
He
one
did
guy.
get a knockout. Yeah. Val Woodburn.
Yeah, these guys are nobodies. Like this guy, they're setting him up just like they set up Sugar to become, one of the big names in the UFC. But
you gotta start him slow because he's been coming. He never fought.
He's brand new.
This.
He's brand new.
He never fucking fought. He fought one fight for Game Bread in his fucking little.
His fighting league? Fighting league? Yeah, but Paul Craig, I think a lot of people are going to overlook him in this fight just because Bo Nickel is up and coming, 3 finishes in his last 3. Great wrestler. But I think what Bo Nickel needs to do in this fight is stay away from the wrestling just because how dangerous Paul Craig is. I mean, it comes down to that. I mean, Paul Craig has the most triangle choke sub wins in UFC history.
Yeah.
He has the performance bonus 8 times, the second most in UFC history. He's 2-3 in his last 5, but it doesn't make somebody, not as talented as they once used to be. It just means, the cards weren't lined up.
No, I agree. Like I said, he's very fucking good off his back. So, like, if Bo tries to wrestle him down,
I think he wants him to be
And
honest.
he's fucking big for the weight class too. He's probably the same size, if not bigger than Bo. So like that's why he's so good with the fucking triangles.
Yeah, he's lengthy.
So who are you going with?
This is like kind of like the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul situation. I want Bo Nickel to win. I think Bo Nickel is going to win, but I think there's a big possibility that Paul Craig catches him in a sub. His inexperienced on the ground, as you know, you got to look at the experience Paul Craig's been in for 17 UFC fights. Like that's nothing to overlook. Bo Nickel has, 3 fights, and he's way less experienced jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is so dangerous. It takes one wrong move and you get slipped up. One wrong wrestling move. Being a wrestler, like I know, like when I used to grapple, like I would make one mistake that a black belt would just be like, ta-da! Like you're done. So I think I'm going to lean towards a Paul Craig sub for this one.
I'm actually going the same way. I think Paul Craig doesn't want to be the fucking gatekeeper to this kid's career.
Yeah.
And where is Paul Craig going to go from here if he loses?
Yeah.
He might not be in the UFC anymore.
Yeah.
He might be in trouble. So I'm going to go with Paul Craig also with, triangle?
A triangle, huh?
Keep that going for him.
Keep the triangle legacy going.
I like it. I was actually fucking around with a little parlay on here. I was going to do Paul Craig.
Like buy what you're thinking? Like Paul Craig buy sub?
No, just straight up.
Just straight up?
Just straight up.
So the money line, folks. The
straight money line. Paul Craig, Michael Chandler. Then I was going to switch it up just for like a cheap one.
Yeah.
All fucking underdogs.
Okay.
And Stipe.
Okay.
It would be plus 13,925.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's worth fucking throwing like a $10 bet on.
Oh yeah.
Are you betting? I know you're a big fucking gambler, man.
Yeah, I mean, if I was to make a little parlay with this one, I like going who I think's going to win and how they're going to win. So I would take a John Jones sub. If you want to get a little crazy, then you could pick what round you think he's going to sub in, but the odds for that are just crazy. I mean, you'll get a plus 50,000 lay if you pick the round and when he subs him. So I like just going straight. I would go John Jones straight sub, Michael Chandler KO, and Paul Craig sub, and then it would probably come out to like plus 7,000.
I like that.
Somewhere around there.
That's pretty fucking good. Yeah, I'm probably throw a couple fucking shekels down. A couple shekels. I'm definitely gonna do that parlay just for the fucking hell of it. Throw like $10 down.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see. I don't know if it's gonna be plus 7,000, but it should be around there. I mean,
but not gonna lie, I should fucking follow you because you're pretty good at fucking gambling. I'm pretty fucking terrible.
You throw enough money at it, you win.
Eventually, we don't look at the losses, but like,
yeah,
you celebrate the wins.
But
yeah, like the other fights on this card are kind of fillers.
Yeah,
it's not the best end of the card.
What are the names on it? You got the one woman fight, which I think is actually going to be a dog fight because that one chick, that's I remember.
Yeah, we got Viviane Araujo.
Araujo. Yeah.
Yeah, versus
I feel like she's a
Karen
beast.
Silva.
I'll be honest. I never really seen either of them fight. I think I seen highlights of Araujo, but I can't really touch on that too much.
Yeah, but she lost a lot of her fights too, so I think she's on a fucking.
They should have threw Rose on this card. Are you kidding me?
They should have. I mean, the girl Silva, she's on a 9-fight win streak, 5 in the UFC, so that's pretty good.
Okay.
Scary. Then you got Mauricio Rufy and James Lyon top.
No, I never heard of either of those guys.
Yeah, Rufy 1 fight in the UFC. Nothing crazy. Lyon top, I think he's had a couple, but yeah, not really too intrigued by those fights.
Yeah, me neither.
But the rest of the card,
I'm actually shocked that they put those on this card because this could have been one of the bigger cards.
Yeah, it really should have been.
I mean, you had two fights on that card with like good name fillers. This card is probably one of the best in the history.
Yeah,
honestly,
stacked.
The last like 5 years.
I agree.
So I don't know why they would add those two, but hey, listen, everybody's got to make a name for themselves somewhere. So
it's true.
What not better than you than on a
John
Jones card?
Fucking Bo Nickel's been on like every pay-per-view main card, and he's pretty much done nothing in the UFC yet. So
yeah, and he's one of the bigger names now.
Yeah, it's very true. So it's all about names. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. You got anything more?
No, I mean, I think we touched base everything pretty good.
Yep. So a little recap. I got Tyson, 3rd round knockout. You got Jake Paul.
Yep. Decision.
We both have John Jones. We both have Chandler. And we both have Craig.
Yeah.
Which is very odd.
I think that's the big one, right? I feel like the odds makers.
Yeah, I think for sure Bo Nickel is going to win this.
I don't know what the odds makers were thinking when they made that. Like, I get that he lost.
Yeah.
Like the last
MGM is like minus 12,000.
That's crazy.
Or 1,200. Sorry.
I feel like he's so dangerous.
I know.
I just feel like it's worth a sprinkle. I mean, listen, not financial advice, but I feel like it's worth a sprinkle. The guy's odds are crazy against an inexperienced fighter. Love Bo. Loved watching him wrestle in college. I just think that Paul has more of the experience and technique in this one. But yeah, definitely.
A little Salt Bay on that guy?
Yeah.
A little Salt Bay. Yeah. All right, that's pretty much it. Let's wrap this thing up.
Cool. Thanks for having me, brother.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming out. First fight show.
Yeah.
Maybe we're going to have to make it a name. Make it a fucking monthly thing. Go over the UFC fights.
Rather be fighting, baby.
Rather be fighting. Don't forget to follow the Instagram, Rather Be Golfing. Subscribe to the YouTube. Also, check out buckedup.com. Promo code CASEIN1, get 20% off.
Bucked up, baby.
You're going to have to get fucking back to the gym, my friend.
Oh, fuck you, dude.
Till next time, carry on.